Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to go over what it means to have inferior extrovert sensing. And inferior extrovert sensing in Myers-Briggs typology means that you have extrovert sensing as your fourth cognitive function of your top four. So this video is talking about being an INTJ or an INFJ. This is a topic that's been on my mind recently and I decided let's talk about it because I don't think I've seen a video talk about this, or at least in the way that I've been thinking about it. I want to start this video off addressing one of the most ridiculous thing I keep reading or hearing in the Myers-Briggs community. If you have inferior extrovert sensing, then that means you should automatically hate anything that is sensory filled. Things such as concerts, things such as going to sporting events, things such as going to like a graduation or a party or anything. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Because to say that having inferior extrovert sensing means we don't enjoy doing that, that means that we're not even human, because those are things that humans enjoy, especially when you're going to those events as a bonding opportunity, or if it's something that you're very passionate about. First thing I want to address in this video is that if you're an INTJ or an INFJ and you enjoy going to events, that doesn't make you any less INTJ or INFJ. But if you're on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you're an INFJ or INTJ and you don't enjoy going to those things, that doesn't make you any less INTJ or INFJ as well. Each person is very unique. You can't be completely typed using any type of typology system, and I think that's ridiculous. Let's stop thinking that way. I think the easiest way to explain what it means having inferior extrovert sensing is that extrovert sensing feels natural until it doesn't. I'm not really sure how to fully explain that, but the analogy that I want to use in this video, and I apologize if this is not your cup of tea, engaging with extrovert sensing feels like engaging with a drug that when it hits, when we feel comfortable using it, it feels amazing. We feel powerful. We feel unstoppable. It's, some people use these things, even caffeine or tobacco or something, to feel a certain feeling or to get to a certain psychological state that you can't naturally. So engaging with extrovert sensing kind of feels like you're on a drug. Using that same analogy, there's also a come down from it as well. So when we're engaging with extrovert sensing, we kind of want more of it. We're chasing the high. It's like, oh, this is life. This is what it means to actually live in a moment. This is what living life should feel like on a daily basis. I want more. I want more. I want to keep doing this. So one of the easiest ways to type an INTJ or an INFJ, or at least the way that I've noticed them, is how they engage with extrovert sensing. Because a lot of INTJs and INFJs that I know, when they engage with extrovert sensing, it's either stop or go. It's either, oh, I don't want to drink alcohol at all, or, oh, I'm just going to have one beer, and then they're the drunkest person at the party, or they just can't stop because they've downed 4 or 5 White Claws in a span of like 60 minutes because it just feels good. Extroverted sensing, when we engage with it, it gives us a high. But then as with any drug, paraphernalia, or anything that causes intoxication, there's always a come down. The next day, you either feel very embarrassed that you did something that you wish you didn't do because extrovert sensing told you that it'd be fun and you did it, or you're fiending for it the next day, that it just feels so weird to be in your natural state again. I kind of want to go out again. Like there's this urge to want to re-engage with whatever you're doing. And I don't mean necessarily that it has to do with any form of intoxication or any type of drug or alcohol, but it's just, oh, I went hiking the day before, or oh, I went to a sporting event. That was so fun. I want to go again today. There's this downtime where you have to equalize and become the same NI-DOM that you were before that. And it's really weird because engaging with extrovert sensing to that degree doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And when it does happen, it feels amazing. But then there's part of me where I'm just like embarrassed of it. So that's what I mean when I say it's natural until it isn't. Because as an NI-DOM, we're not the first to make moves. We will make moves. It usually takes us a long time. And when we think about it in hindsight, it doesn't make sense for us to have engaged with whatever we were engaging with to the same degree we did, but we did. And it's just, for a lack of a better word, it's just a lack of control. Which brings me to the next topic, and I don't really see anyone talk about this in the Myers-Briggs community, or maybe there is a video out there and I've just never seen it, but it's more along the lines that it feels like a waste of day. I'm using that very loosely because when I say it's a waste of day, what I'm talking about is when we engage with extrovert sensing too often or for an extended period of time, there's this feeling like, and I can't really describe it. It's like introverted intuition is telling me, John, you need to slow down. You need to start thinking again. But it's not necessarily in those terms. It's more along the lines of I would go out for 2 days straight and then I would be laying in bed and I know I had a great time. I know whatever I was doing was enjoyable and it was creating memories that I will have forever. But there's this part of me that made me feel like I was wasting my time because I didn't have enough time to actually delve into or dive into or maybe just process everything that I went through. So because of that, it's 2 days that I planned to do what I wanted to do. And when I was doing it, I was having a great time. But afterwards, the come down, the aftermath, I feel like I wasted my time. And it usually only feels like that for like a day. And I want to be very clear that this isn't the TE side of me. Because extrovert thinking, if I'm thinking about it as an INTJ, it means that I was able to knock things off a checklist. So if the 2 days that I was talking about was me doing chores and stuff, that's not engaging with extrovert sensing. Yes, there is an extrovert sensing component, but that's engaging with extrovert thinking more than anything else. What I'm talking about is just going out, having fun with friends, going to concerts, again, just lollygagging at the park, meandering somewhere with your friends, going on a car ride, not knowing where the destination is. It's fun in a moment, but it always feels like a waste of time in hindsight. Which leads me to the next part of this video, and it's that I noticed that even when I'm engaging with extrovert sensing, especially when I'm engaging with extrovert sensing when I'm stressed out, I'm more engaged with introverted intuition than I'm engaging with extrovert sensing. I feel like everyone goes through this, but I think it happens more to INTJs and INFJs than anyone else. I noticed that sometimes when I engage with extroverted sensing, I'm actually more engaged with introverted intuition than I am with extroverted sensing. And everyone goes through this. I hear it a lot from every other type out there where you're just kind of zoned out. When you're driving your car and then you're 20 minutes away from home, you're kind of just zoned out. And then the next thing you know, you're home. It's similar to that, but at a grander scale. I noticed that whenever I'm going on a hiking trail, especially when I'm by myself, I am in the moment hiking and all, but I don't really remember the leaves. I don't remember the trees. I don't remember the path much because I'm in my head. I'm in the zone, but the zone for me is introverted intuition, kind of looking at everything and not necessarily planning anything. I'm just looking at everything for what it is. And extroverted sensing is engaged with because my body's moving, but am I my body at that moment? There's a lot of different terms for this. It's called being in the zone, the runner's high, or anything that has to do with just zoning out when you're doing a physical activity. But it happens so often to me. It actually happens in almost everything I do. It happens when I'm showering, where someone commented this, and I didn't realize that I did this too. They would take a shower and not know whether they already applied shampoo or body wash. So they had to do it again because they were so lost in their head. And I was talking to an ISTJ a long time ago, and she told me that when she's doing dishes, she's actually thinking about how to file the dishes so that it makes sense or at least it looks neat. That doesn't cross my mind at all. When I'm doing the dishes, I'm in my own little world. I just put things however it can fit. And it's very interesting to me because as an INTJ, when I'm engaging with extrovert sensing, I don't really engage with it unless there's someone else involved. I made a previous video about extrovert sensing, or at least how I perceive it, but there's an entertainer side of it. And if I don't have to entertain anyone, I'd much rather engage with introverted intuition. Speaking of the people aspect of extroverted sensing, there really is a huge difference from an INTJ and an INFJ. And I've noticed this because I have two really close INFJ friends and some coworkers that I've met that I'm pretty sure are INFJs. And just the difference in how we engage with people with extroverted thinking and extroverted feeling whenever we're low on social battery. So this is more akin to being an introvert, but you see how we engage with the situation based off of our first extroverted function. I was at work one day and a bunch of people from all around the nation came that were part of the team because we were all remote at that point. And this was, I think, the second or third day where we were all... It was just days packed with meetings. It was lunchtime, and I saw a bunch of them kind of just grouped up around a table, and they were all having lunch together. And I remember kind of walking, looking at them, And then one of my coworkers, she was an ENFP. She waved me to come over, but I just kind of waved her off and walked away. And I waved her off and walked away not because I didn't want to be around them, not because I didn't like them. They were all great people, and it was free food too. But I just couldn't do it. I didn't have the energy to socialize at all. And I knew that if I were to socialize, it would be about work, that I would talk about our tasks. I would have to talk about something that needed to get done. When I think about INFJ, when they go there, it wouldn't be about tasks. They would talk about, the person, or get to know who they are, or just some type of FE related thing, because you default to what your first extroverted function is. And it's very interesting. And this is the part where I considered whether I had autism or not. But when I lack extroverted sensing, I lack a lot of normal behaviors. I have the most difficult time making eye contact when I'm low on SE energy. I become so aware of my quirks. I become so aware of how different I am from everyone else by overanalyzing the situation and overanalyzing what everyone is saying. It's not anxiety, because I know what anxiety feels like. It's me literally being an I. This is me noticing things and putting them in boxes without going through everyone else. It's okay, this is happening, this is what I believe it is, and because of that, this is not like that. I become a lot more conscious or self-conscious of myself, which then sometimes lead me to projecting my insecurities on other people, which I usually don't say or voice out a lot, but I'll just become easily irritable for some reason. And I think the funniest part of having inferior extrovert sensing, especially when I'm low on that SE battery or that introversion battery, is that I naturally default into talking introverted intuition. I naturally start asking people all these questions. They're not even philosophical, but apparently they're very deep questions. I would start analyzing things because for some reason, I believe that introvert intuition just needs an NI, and that if I don't do it, I might just combust and just blow up or something. I've had that happen so many times where when I was tired, people stopped understanding me. And, to their fairness, I didn't understand myself sometimes. I would say sentences that were either incomplete or thoughts that were incomplete because there wasn't anything to kind of filter all my thoughts through. But I think it all comes down to I just needed to NI it out. I'm over encumbered in my mind with too much information, and I need to sort it out some way. And because I can't sort it out because I don't have that time to think about it, some of those thoughts will just naturally slip out, whether it makes sense or not to that conversation, because it needs to go somewhere. If you've been watching my channel for a while, I love extrovert sensing. It's very helpful. Every time I go out and engage with the world, I always learn something new that I didn't know before. And I do believe that a healthy person engages with extrovert sensing, whether it's in your top 4 function stack or your bottom 4 function stack. You're a complete person, everyone engages with it. I just noticed that when it comes down to being an INTJ and having inferior extrovert sensing, that it manifests itself in completely different ways that I see in other people. And I've asked my ESFP friends, 3 of them, 2 guys and 1 girl, how they felt about some of the things that I listed off in this video. And for them, it didn't make sense. And not make sense as in they don't need time for introversion, right? Everyone needs time for introversion. It's more along the lines of they feel like it was a use of a day. But for me, again, if I'm out for too long and we're just extrovert sensing, we're not ticking up any TE box or not thinking things through thoroughly, it feels like a waste of day. It doesn't feel good. And because of that, sometimes I don't want to do it again. But I know that it was good at that time, and I know my NI was developed because I was gathering all these new data that I didn't have before, but it just doesn't feel naturally good. I'm not really sure where I was going on with this video. There wasn't any specific topic or conclusion that I wanted to get to. This was something that's on my mind recently, and I thought it'd be an interesting video because, again, I haven't seen a video talking about how it feels to have extrovert sensing so low. And the videos that I did see, they weren't from people who have extrovert sensing so low, so it was a theory of it, but not necessarily how it affects you at a daily basis. Feel free to comment below and tell me how you engage with extrovert sensing, because I know it's very different for every type out there. But as an INTJ, I did notice that there is a huge love-hate relationship that I have with it, and that I know for sure I'm an INTJ because of how much I feel like I'm wasting my time when I engage with it too often without engaging with introverted intuition. Like the ratio has to be like 90-10, to be honest, in order for me to feel like I'm doing something with my life. Because if it's not 90-10, if I'm like 20% SE or 30% SE, there's this part of me that just feels like I am a useless human being because I haven't thought things out yet. I don't know where I'm going with this video, guys. I'm going to end this here. It's going to be a short video. Thank you again for watching. I really do appreciate it. Leave your comments below and have a great day, everyone. Bye.